Hello everyone, and welcome to the Box Gaming coverage of Round 9 in the 7th season of the Apex Online Racing League for PC Split 1. I'm still Justin, aka Fake Ghost Pirate.
And I'm Mikko, aka Smuffler.
And today we'll be racing 31 laps around this unique street circuit under the lights of Singapore at night for the longest race of the season. And there is a small chance for rain in the race itself. It's going to be dry for qualifying, but there's, what was it, a 17% chance for rain? I think we're about to say 16.
16, yeah.
16% chance of rain in the race itself. So, you're going to do, 9-8 wings, 50, whoa, did that say 50-49? Strange.
51.
Okay. It looked like it changed to 50. It still said 49 on the other side. So yeah, this is definitely a unique circuit. Whoa, that was a strange Mercedes going by. Yeah, I think I had a lagging McLaren when I was coming out of the pits actually. So I think there's not something I've seen very often is the car stopping in the middle of the pit lane. So yeah, things are already off to a pretty interesting start here.
Yeah, longest race in the calendar, so it's even at 50%, it's almost an hour long.
Yeah. I mean, it's exhausting. Yeah, and like you said, it's exhausting even as a 50% race. It really gives me some serious respect for the drivers, because to do a 2-hour-long race around this track, especially where, I mean, really, this straight that you're on right now, this DRS straight, that's really the only place that you can, have a little bit of a rest. The start-finish straight, I mean, you're barely getting into 7th gear before you're breaking down for the next corner. So it's really just that main DRS straight where you get an opportunity to kind of stretch, relax, take a second to relax yourself and relax your mind and all that. So it's a very challenging, very tiring circuit. You did a lot of practice for this one, though, right?
Yeah, like if you compare it to the others on this season, I think this and Monaco seem to be the ones that I've been practicing more.
Mm-hmm. The street circuits, yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
Well, in Monaco, you were able to get that podium, so hopefully that practice will pay off in the end. So we're going to have the side-by-side qualifying comparison. I did not get as much practice as Mikko did, and also I just do not have super great pace. So we're starting the lap now, going down into turn 1, braking just underneath the bridge. And you're already, I would say, a 10th up on me as we come out of the first set of corners down towards this swooping right-hand corner onto the DRS straight. And DRS is open, using quite a bit of curves, we both are.
About the same.
And not a huge difference at this point in the lap, maybe 2-3 tenths, something like that. Something like that, not a huge difference. And we're both pretty close to our previous laps, actually. We're both within 2/100ths of our previous lap, so no big change versus previous laps. I did have a incident in qualifying, which caused me to only be able to do 2 laps in qualifying instead of the normal 3. So unfortunately, this was the best of those 2 laps that I was able to get in. And we're going through this hairpin now. This is actually another bit of a location where you can have a little bit of a rest as you go down to finish Sector 2. And we can see there's a much bigger gap at this point. This is probably more like 7 tenths, something like that.
Yeah, and these are evened out now, so we'll reset the...
Yep.
Yeah.
So mine fast forwarded a little bit to catch up with Mikko's now, so you guys can see the difference for each lap. So that was like 2 or 3 tenths for the first one. We're talking like 7 tenths for the second one, and probably even more for this one actually. Yeah, I'm already much more cautious. Oh, I have a little bump with the barrier there, just to say hello. And yeah, big difference already. It's looking like 6 or 7 tenths, maybe even closer to a full second at this point. Yeah, that's looking like almost a full second. So in the end, one of the bigger differences in qualifying, you can see it's almost 4 seconds from first down to 12th. So very different times. My PB in practice was around a 139.4, which would have put me into 8th position. But unfortunately, I was over a second off of my PB. Great job from you, Miko, though, with the 38.0. Had you gotten into the 37s at all in your practice?
Yeah, my PB was 37.6.
Oh, okay. So 4/10 off.
Yeah, not a mega lap, but
yeah, but not too bad either.
Too bad,
I mean, yeah, it certainly could have been 4/10 isn't a huge difference, especially when you're comparing to your PB. Yeah. Obviously. So, good job in the end. So I qualified in 11th, which is actually kind of what I was shooting for. In case you guys are wondering, I was hoping to start this race on the prime tires with the 16% chance of rain. I thought that might mean that I could do one less pit stop than everyone else if I do 2 prime stints at the start of it. But unfortunately, Jack First got a penalty in qualifying, which dropped him down to 12th and put me up into 10th. And then the game forced me to start on the tires that I had qualified on. So unfortunately, my strategy has already gone flying out the window before we've even gotten to the grid.
Yeah, as far as I know, I think in real F1 you should be able to choose your tires, because I mean, why would you choose the tires that were used in Q2?
Right, exactly. Yeah, if somebody had qualified in 11th in Q2, and then somebody got disqualified in Q3, they would still get free choice of tires. So I'm not sure if that's a glitch or if that's intended. I'm not 100% sure. But here we are at the grid, 5 lights, and we're away. You're just behind Granu. Great job from Romian qualifying in 3rd place, right alongside his teammate Alex Gillen. Fat First is going around the outside of Granu, and you've got lots of proximity arrows. It looks like Ryden is having a little bit of look around the outside. Gave each other lots of room. Very fair racing going on through there. Hanging on to your 6th place position. Going to be getting a little bit of a slipstream on Fat First, but of course just about everybody's getting a slipstream at this point in the race. And I've already dropped down a position to 11th place. I think that's Chicane. Yeah, Chicane got by me. And there's a lot of ghosting going on and a little bit of contact as well. And Ryden is on the prime tires, which he actually qualified on. So great job from Ryden to qualify that high up on the prime tires. It's really impressive.
The difference between primes and options is of course there's one compound in between. There's the yellow marked soft tire, so the difference between the options and the primes is quite big at this track, especially.
Yeah, especially because it's so twisty and stuff like, you know, if this was like a Monza type circuit, it certainly wouldn't make as much of a difference, but because of the vast difference in the tire compounds coupled with the amount of corners that this track has, yeah, it makes for a big difference. As Romian has gone wide, and it looks like he's lost a little bit of an end plate, and there's some contact between Fat First and Granu as well, as it looks like Granu, there's 2 McLarens hitting you in the back right now. We're going 3 wide through the tunnel. And Romian, who kind of started that whole incident, is saying thank you very much for bumping into each other, and he's just kind of taking off down the road. Zephyr has gotten by you, or was he already ahead?
No, I think he was somewhere around 8th or 9th and just found a clear path through all that carnage.
Well, great job by Zephyr to take advantage of the situation. You got Granu just behind. Who's that in front of Zephyr? Is that Fat First in the Red Bull? I believe it is Fat First in the Red Bull. And it's lap 2, so no DRS just yet. And we're gonna.
Your lap 1.
Oh, okay. So this is actually a little bit of a rewind.
Yeah.
And we're about to go in to see where all the. Oh no! And I've just hit the wall. Not off to a good start. Lap 1, and I've already lost an end plate. Oh, and good. What's this? Yes, I've managed to go right off the track. And there's Romian's end plate as we skip back up ahead to lap 2, and I am in last place at the moment. You can see my fuel's been at -1 for the entire time. I'm running actually aggressive fuel. I was hoping that might give me a little bit of an advantage in the opening laps, because again my strategy got thrown out the window. So at this point I'm just scrounging to try and get whatever scraps I can. and just doing my best to kind of hang on to the rest of the pack and hope maybe some people make some mistakes. And it looks like Zephyr is actually going to go to the inside. Nope, he thinks better of it and decides to go on the normal racing line through that hairpin behind Fat first, and using the rest of your curves. And it looks like you're pulling out a little bit of a gap to Granu. Yep, almost a full second to Granu, so hopefully you can actually get him out of your DRS, since next lap DRS is going to be active.
Yeah, and I knew from practice that Zephyr was gonna be quick, although he does play with the controller, so I do have a little bit of an edge in that aspect on this track, especially these twisty circuits aren't the best for a controller.
Yeah, it's so bumpy as well. I mean, there's the curb. You have to use the curbs very aggressively, as we see right there, using the curb. Zephyr using a lot of the exit curb on his line. So starter lap 3, DRS is now active, and Granu's actually closed a little bit down on you, less than 7/10 behind. So it looks like Zephyr's probably going to get DRS on Fat first, and you're going to get DRS on Zephyr, and it looks like Granu is going to get DRS on you. And so we just get a little bit of
Zephyr here. Let's see what happens.
Very close to Zephyr. It does look like his DRS is open though. You are getting a slipstream on him though. He's very defensive to the inside though, and there's a little bit of contact. He pushes you out wide. That's okay. Kind of. And you've been given a penalty for that somehow. That's a very strange penalty, which has already been removed. For those of you wondering, that's obviously one of the more ridiculous penalties ever. So that's already been removed, so you guys can just ignore that penalty in the results standings and all that sort of good stuff. Very close to Zephyr now, and it looks like Fat First has actually taken advantage of the side-by-side battling that you guys were doing earlier in the lap, and he's pulled out a little bit of a gap. Granu also taking advantage of that to close down the gap on you, as we're seeing a little bit of a proximity arrow from him, and breaking down for this hairpin and getting a little bit of oversteer, and losing a little bit of time to Zephyr and to Granu as well.
Yeah, just taking a little peek just to show him that I'm there.
Yep. And he's not going to get DRS. It looks like he is out of Fat First DRS zone, so certainly you're going to be looking to make the pass in the upcoming DRS zone. I imagine right now you're just trying to stick with him as best you can, actually going to Rich, and taking that corner very nicely, just barely missing the curb and using a little bit of exit curb. Actually, I forgot about the DRS across the start-finish straight there. That's going to close down the gap ever so slightly.
It's really important to be really close here at the first couple of corners as I go on the outside here.
Yep, going around the outside and a little bit of contact, and Zephyr is just sort of edged you out there. You got that DRS though, and the curve is going to move to the outside for this next turn. And wow, pretty much flew right by him, braking very late down, and wow, just nailed that corner, and that is job done up to P4. With a 2.7 second gap to Fat First though, so that's going to be certainly a challenge to catch up to him. He's built himself quite a gap. Up at the front, what's going? I imagine that's Alex and Onage that are up at the front, just kind of having their own race.
Yep, that's right. And I think Romian pit the last lap, so because of maybe because of that, the wing and front wing. If he goes for a 3-stop, then that should be actually a wise choice. Yeah,
certainly. And you're actually 7/10 up on your previous lap, but the gap to Fat First is increasing. It looks like you've gotten Zephyr out of your DRS though, so you can kind of focus on the job at hand as far as moving up rather than defending from behind. And as we're going through Sector 3 now, this very twisty, very tight, mostly second and first gear corners. And you got to be very aggressive over the curbs. You want to try and actually go over the curb with your inside tires on that last corner.
Yeah, and actually avoid the outside curb on the exit of the second to last corner, because that can really send you to the wall.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well.
Really badly.
I mean, even in real F1, that's actually a popular barrier for people to hit. So that's one of those places where you got to be real careful right at the end of the lap before that, almost full throttle final corner. if you have any mistakes through there, then you're going to struggle through that final corner. You're going to struggle all down the start-finish straight. So that it's definitely an important corner to nail. And you are closing down on Fat First, and you're definitely pulling away from Zephyr at this point. Over 1.7 second gap back to Zephyr, and very aggressive. You can, I mean, it's visible how much you are pushing right now.
Yeah, that's. I still have maybe 1.5 laps to go. I was going for a longer first stint because for some reason my tire wear wasn't too bad, so I was able to do 7 laps on this one option. So let's see, the gap to Fat First staying about the same.
And as you guys can see, it's definitely a rear limited track as well. Yeah. So typically the tire wear is a problem when you're coming out of the corners, not when you're going into them. So it's all good, and it's all sunshine and roses until you step on the gas to get onto the power out of the corner, which is when you start getting oversteer and wheel spin and all that sort of stuff. And it looks like Fat First is going to be pitting up ahead from third place. And it looks like someone else is in the pits as well. That's Onage, as Alex is continuing on for another lap as well. So lots of people pitting. Actually, it looks like maybe 4 or 5 cars in the pits at the moment. But you and Alex are going to be continuing on for another lap. And did you say you're pitting at the end of this lap?
No.
The next one.
The next one, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, at the end of lap 7. So yeah, that definitely is a longer stint. I'm continuing on as well. That's right. I asked you, I think, when you were pitting. Oh no, as I've had a lockup and that. Oh no, gosh, what the heck? Oh man, I had a lockup which created understeer, immediately followed by oversteer. Actually, because of the rear limited nature of this track that I was just explaining right now. That's what caused the oversteer at the exit of that corner, which then caused me to lose my right winglet as well. But I'd already lost my left winglet, so you know what's another winglet? We got to change the wing anyway at the end of this lap. So no big deal. Also, I did lose out to Onage there, but he had already pit, so I was already a pit stop behind Onage at this point. Only 6 laps into the race, not even. So definitely wasn't going to be battling him anyway, so that's not actually a position lost out to. But it is certainly unfortunate to anyone that was trying to undercut me or just wanted to stay ahead of me by pitting earlier. That's going to be beneficial for them, as I'm being very cautious in this final sector here. Again, because of the rear limited nature of the track. It all looks fairly smooth until you get to the exit of the corners. And that actually wasn't too bad. I don't think it's very fast, but I'm nailing my apexes at least for the most part. Yep. As Romian is behind. I think he's on the prime tires. Yep. I try to make my intentions very clear when I'm pitting, but that was one of those situations where I probably could have been a little bit clearer a little bit sooner. But in the end, no incidents with Romian there. It was just a little bit of do I go left or do I go right? So here we're going to have a nice 5-second long pit stop as they change my front wing. And going to continue on, as it looks like I'm one of the only people pitting on lap 6, if not the only person pitting on lap 6.
Yeah, I think Alex might have done lap 6, but unfortunately you rejoined at the last place.
Yep, yeah, last place. I mean, that's part of what the late pit stop is going to guarantee, though. My hope is that other people's tires will start to fade later on, and I'll have fresher prime tires. So still hopeful for the race that I can get into the points at least. Certainly it's not looking like a podium or anything like that, but yep, you were right. Alex did pit, as you currently have the lead of this race, with Jack First 7 seconds behind, who also has not pit yet, and Onage another 1.4 seconds behind him, who has pit.
Yeah, as you can see, very, very worn rear tires, oversteer constantly. Just really hard to, lean at this point. and I'm getting massive oversteer.
Well, thankfully you don't have any cars just behind you, so you don't have to worry too much about being hit by anybody as you struggle with the oversteer. Coming into the pits now, you haven't lost any winglets or anything like that, so it should be a nice 3.1 second pit stop thereabouts for the Sauber guys.
No one's gonna block me in the pits or anything like that, so
yep,
that's good too.
Yep, 3.06 seconds. Onage does the fastest lap of the race, and I believe that's Jack first and Onage up at the front now. And oh no, ooh. Zephyr has destroyed his vehicle at the entrance to the pits. You guys can see, if you rewind that, you can see the white dot at the pit entrance. But that's worked out pretty well for you, actually, though, because that could mean that we're going to be seeing a safety car, and you just pit for fresh rubber. So that's, and I wonder how many people are going to be reacting to this and trying to put on a new set of tires. Yep, and there's the safety car deployed.
First time this season, I believe.
Is it? Yeah, I think you're right, actually, about that. I think so. Safety cars deployed here on lap 8, and that's going to bunch the field right back up. Miko currently in 6th place position, which is actually where you started at. Yeah. Not after everything that's happened, really nothing has happened. So it's pretty much as you were. We're almost going to restart the race. The only difference for me being that I'm restarting in 12th instead of 10th. But this is certainly good for me, who was just trying to keep up with the field. So this is actually good news for both of us.
Yeah, especially if I'd have any chance of closing down Alex or Onage, that'll close down the pack in the front.
Absolutely. And I do believe that when Onage pit, he actually pit for a second set of the option tires. Is that correct?
Yeah, Onage is on a 3-stop, so apparently his driving style doesn't suit this track in terms of tire wear, that he gets really bad rear tire wear, and was not able to do a 2-stop or even in practice. Didn't see that. And there is someone in the pits, that's Jack first and Romian, I believe.
Yep, so people are pitting in response to that, and that's actually going to move you up, though, of course. That puts you up into 4th place position now. So the safety car has been even more beneficial than we originally thought it would be. And I would imagine that the safety car is probably coming. Yeah, this is lap 10 now that we've skipped ahead to, so the safety car is probably coming in this lap.
Yep.
And you've done a good amount of fuel saving. You're actually on +1 at this point.
Oh, this is you.
Oh, well, I've done quite a bit of fuel saving. I'm actually on +1 at this point.
Yeah, well
done. Starting from aggressive. So I was actually feeling pretty good now at this point. I was pretty much planning to put it into rich and just see if I could maybe pass some people or take advantage of some carnage. Obviously, the bunching up of the field could mean that there's going to be some more incidents up ahead. So I'm being as optimistic about all of this as possible.
Yeah, it's a good equalizer. So safety car in this lap, yeah. That is the confirmation.
Going to mix 2 in preparation.
In these restarts, it's really hard or even impossible to get heated to the rear tires.
Yeah, no, so I've tried even setting the brake bias heavily to the rear and then just riding the gas and brake simultaneously, and it does nothing for the rear tires. You pretty much have to spin them up, but your throttle is being controlled while you're under safety car, so it's almost impossible to spin the tires up as well. So it's definitely tough getting temperature into the tires under safety car, but we are restarting. Starting lap 11, as your engineer is already telling you to go for the pass. So he's certainly optimistic. As you have Chicane.
Chicane, yeah.
Yeah, Chicane just behind. Remember, guys, he started in 11th position at the start of the race, so he's doing very well around Singapore here as we restart and we are racing and losing a little bit of time to Fat First. Of course, there's no DRS yet. It's going to be a couple of laps before DRS gets activated. If we're racing on lap 11, that would mean DRS active on lap 13, right?
I'm not actually sure how.
I think it is.
in real F1 it would be at least. So.
I think it's 2 full laps. It's just like the start of a race. It's 2 full laps without DRS. So laps 11 and 12 will be without DRS, and then lap 13 DRS will be active again as you get a little bit of an inside wheel lock and went a little wide, but you didn't lose too much time. And it looks like Fat First may have even made a similar mistake. So actually you've closed up on him a little bit, with Chicane, of course, still just behind for company.
And for this race, we have a new guy in the league, or in the split, called Trivium, I think.
Yeah, it's either Tremium or Tremium. The mium part is pretty straightforward as far as pronunciation, but I don't know if that's a long E or a short E. I don't know if that's tree or tre. But yeah, he is new to the league, and he certainly seems up to pace already. He out-qualified me, and he's ahead of me in the race at the moment, so he's definitely on par with the rest of the split. So already a good addition to the league. As we're coming to the end of lap 11, and I don't think we're going to see DRS active. Nope, we are not, so that'll happen on lap 13. And very close to Fat First now, though. Looking like you might be attempting a pass without DRS even.
Let's see. It's really hard to, if you're this close, really hard to go through this corner following, because a lot of understeer.
Yeah, lots of understeer. Great job from you, though. Yeah, that's interesting. It didn't say any. There was no message on the screen about DRS being active, so that's a little bit of a strange one there. But trying along the outside, and almost a carbon copy of the move you tried on Zephyr. So both Red Bull teams, unfortunately, are giving you troubles at that corner. And I am up to 10th position now, so I'm into the points and not far behind 9th and 8th place as well. Looks like 7th is pulling out a little bit of a gap, as I have a rough corner through there because of the dirty air, though. Going down to lean for this tight, twisty section before I put it back up to Rich after the hairpin after the bridge. And I've definitely lost a little bit of time to Jack First up ahead as we go through those corners.
Up to 10th now.
Yep, yeah, definitely in the points. Feeling pretty good. Tremium is behind me at the moment. Not far behind me at the moment, though, so he is looking very quick. And, of course, remember, my gaps are not accurate, so he is less than 1.2 seconds, and I am less than 3.2 from Jack First. But it's looking like if the rest of the lap keeps up like this, I might actually miss out on DRS from Jack First. And Tremium might actually...
There looks like there's...
Yeah, there's some battling. Yeah, and that's actually allowed me to close back down a little bit here. So it looks like I am going to get DRS for the start-finish straight at least. Taking a lot of curb, trying to just stay out of the dirty air as best I can, just trying to take a different line from the car ahead of me. As I do get DRS, and I'm in rich for that straight, and then dip back down to lean for this part. And
so you were going a little bit sideways for the first corner.
Yeah, it's all for fun. I do it for the crowd, you know. I'm like Vettel in that way. I like to please the crowd. So you do get DRS on Fat First, close down that gap a little bit, 3/10 faster than the previous lap, and you pulled out on Chicane as well, actually. It looks like Chicane has dropped back significantly, over 4 seconds back to Chicane now. And it looks like he might be running a little bit of a Truly train at the moment, as it looks like there's a game of Snake being played on the minimap.
Yeah, and Onage and Alex playing a game of Snake of their own.
Yeah, a much shorter game of Snake, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe the first stage when you...
Right, when you're first starting out.
Yeah, when you're first starting out. Before any apples.
Exactly. Before you eat any apples. They are pre-apple snake, and Chicane is post-apple snake. So actually, it looks like Raiden has managed to get by Chicane, but that gap just increased even further, almost 6 seconds back now to 5th place. So it's looking like you have really no threats from behind. And again, you can just really focus on the car ahead. And it looks like Fat First is not necessarily struggling, but I think he's feeling the pressure that you're applying to him currently.
Yeah, trying to stick around in the DRS range, and really this is the place where I try to get close enough, and I think only just pit for, I don't know if he went to the primes or options.
He must have gone for the primes, I gotta imagine. I guess he could have done a third option stint instead, but Yeah, unfortunately, the safety car has not played out to Onage's strategy whatsoever. So, unfortunately, he's already had to pit again from the option tires. Again, we're not sure if he went onto the options or the primes just yet. I think either way, he'll be setting fastest lap on fresh rubber, regardless of the compound. But that's promoted you into a podium position now in 3rd place going around Singapore. Alex has a very healthy lead over you in Fat First. And again, you're just very close behind to Fat First. And he kind of seems to be a bit all over the place. He doesn't seem to be as stable as you. You can see him like kind of moving around a little bit more than you are. So it's looking like you have the pace on him at the moment, just not by loads. You know, it's looking like you'll probably get him. And I'm actually in 7th place position at this point with Romian just behind as we're starting Sector 3 of lap 14. And getting a little bit of oversteer as I go through that corner. And I imagine Romian's going to be looking to the outside and down to the inside for this corner. I leave him room as I anticipated the maneuver, and I'm gonna have the inside line for this one though, and I'm still giving him room, and oh gosh, and he sticks it around the outside. Wow. And fantastic move from Romian there. That was a great pass. I honestly completely forgot that happened, but great job from Romian. That was very clean racing, and a great pass by him as well. And there was lots of respect and room given to each other, so that was very nice to see. As I do get DRS on him, but unfortunately he's already long gone. And going down to lean for the start of this sector, and back up to Rich as I come around this hairpin. And Granu just behind. Company. Yep, I imagine he'll be looking to make the pass in the DRS zone as we come around the corner. And here's the DRS, and he's already alongside me as I'm using lots of curves and rich mix to try and defend. I've got the inside line as we come to the end of Sector 1, braking at just about the 100-meter board just to be safe. And that is how you give room through that corner for those that were wondering. And again, we're going side by side through that hairpin, but I'm going to have the inside line as we come through here. And it looks like I'm just barely able to edge him out, but unfortunately I don't have any curves to defend with as Granu and Onage is behind now as well. Going around the outside, a little bit off the course. Oh, and Onage just sneaks through. What an amazing move. I wouldn't expect anything less from Onage though. Fantastic maneuver. Granu's gone a little bit wide. Onage through the inside. They're going to be going side by side down this straight. Onage is going to be trying to run on the outside. No, he switches back to the inside. Granu goes to defend, and they trade places again, and Onage makes that move stick. But he is on the prime tires, so that answers our question from earlier. As we lose connection to Romian, really? Oh, no. Oh, no.
It wasn't me.
I like me going, That's my only response to that. So yeah, unfortunately we lost connection to Romian, myself, and Zephyr simultaneously, which means this field has gone from 12 down to 9, which is really unfortunate. Over 25% of the cars disconnected simultaneously.
Yep. And going on the inside of Fat First, braking pretty early, leaving him room. He goes wide. Going the outside here. That's it. That's the wall. And thank you very much. That is 2nd place.
Oh no, I did lose connection. Put it back.
Yep, and that's going to be very good for the race. Certainly, again, you were looking like you were faster than him. Not by loads, but you were looking like you were faster. It's yet to be seen if that was actually DRS related or anything like that, but this is a very hard track to follow somebody on. So this is where we're going to really find out if, in fact, you do have the pace over Fat First. And we're going to get our first gap, and it's already 1.3 seconds. Yep, so clearly he was just kind of keeping you behind all this time. But of course, it's almost 6 seconds gap to Alex now. And that's probably not a gap that you're going to be able to close down with 15 laps left in this race.
No, not really. And remember, there's still that chance of rain.
Yep, there's still 16% chance of rain, and also I should mention for any of our viewers who might not be Alex Gillen subscribers as well, this is a bit of a specialty track for Alex. I'd say this one and Abu Dhabi are his two specialty tracks that he's especially good at. So to challenge Alex at Singapore is certainly something that you would have to be doing right from the start. I mean, to close down a 6-second gap would be difficult. If you were, just behind, I would say you have a pretty good chance of at least giving him a hard time. But to close down a 6-second gap, especially after the safety car, which did play into Alex's strategy, that's just going to make it that much harder. But you are keeping up, actually. You closed down the gap by about 300ths in that last sector there. As we skip ahead now to lap 19. And Alex has already pit, and you're pitting a little bit later. Because of your longer first stint, so hopefully that will pay dividends. It was about a 6-second gap last we checked, so let's take a look at the end of Sector 1 and see what that gap is. The split time won't be accurate for this start-finish gap, just so you guys know, because Miko was going through the actual pit lane itself at the time of that split.
Let's see where I rejoin. There's a couple of cars coming.
So Onage takes the lead of the race currently. Of course, he's got another stop to make, though.
There's Alex and Raiden.
So that's actually dropped you down to 4th place, but Onage still has a stop to make. It really depends how quick he's going to be. He could potentially, if he's able to put in fast enough laps, he could come out of the pits right around you, just ahead of you, just behind you. He could be a threat from behind after coming out of the pits, those sorts of things. Fat First
is really on my gearbox here.
Yep, he is very close. He did pit earlier than you, so he's got a little bit of an undercut, but you've got the fresher tires at the moment as he goes around the outside, and again, you do a great job of leaving him room. And you try the switch back on him. You're going to have the outside line for this corner, and actually it looks like you've edged him out, and you were able to take the racing line. Great defending and racing from both of you, actually. Great side-by-side stuff there.
Yeah, a little bit of a shame to see that so many are using the runoff after the long straight, because that's not really allowed to go over the white lines that much.
Not with all 4 tires, yeah. I mean, I went over it a couple times, but I could tell you it was not intentional and it wasn't fast at all. The times that I had an experience with that curb. Also, just to let you guys know before this battle gets too much more exciting, I did not get points, unfortunately, because of the position of Zephyr and Romian at the time of the disconnections. I technically finished the race in 11th position, so no points for me, unfortunately. But thankfully, Miko is looking like possibly a 3rd place podium position at this point. Pulling out a little bit on Fat First now. I think those fresher tires are starting to show their speed now.
Yeah, they take maybe a good one or 2 laps to warm up properly when they give their best grip.
Alex just put in a 140.6. It's almost 3 seconds faster than your current fastest lap. Although this is your first lap on the new tires, so this lap is going to be the one that really tells us. You should be, I would imagine, into the 42s, maybe 41s. I mean, if it's a really good lap, maybe even into the 40s. But yeah, Alex doing a 140.6, which is, I think, about what my qualifying time was. Thereabouts.
Thereabouts, yeah.
So Alex, with 10 laps left in the race on prime tires, is doing the same lap that I did in qualifying on the Super Softs with practically no fuel and running rich mix and getting DRS as well. So he is certainly flying at this moment. You can see on the mini-map, there's a pretty big gap between him and 2nd place, and it looks like Raiden is falling. Oh no, Alex is in 2nd place at the moment, right? Onage is still in 1st currently.
Actually, I don't know, but
I think so. I want to say Onage is in 1st currently.
Raiden, they both still have a pit stop to go, so.
Oh, Raiden has a pit stop as well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Then, yeah, Raiden is not technically in 3rd place. That would put you in a net 3rd position. Again, though, it really depends on Onage and how quick he's able to go. As Alex does a 140.3. Yep, your new fastest, though, 141.3. That's a huge increase over the previous fastest lap that you had. So definitely running very well on this new set of tires, and I believe you've gotten fat first out of your DRS range. It's pretty close.
Yeah, if you look at the minimap, I think so. That should be around 1.5 seconds, but we'll see.
Yep, 1.1. So you do have him out of your DRS, though. And
first sector faster than the previous lap, so it's looking like I have a pretty good pace at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Got just about 9 laps to go after this one. Very aggressive over the curbs.
As you should.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing illegal, though. That's exactly how you're supposed to take it. And it looks like you're actually catching Raiden now, so even without his pit stop that he's got to take. Okay, he's doing some fuel saving up ahead. So even without his extra pit stop, it's looking like you would probably catch him by the end of this race.
If Raiden was... if he started on the primes, then he must go to the options next. If he is... well, I'm actually not sure which tires he is on now, but...
I believe he's on the primes at the moment, and you're right, he started on the primes, so I do believe his final stop is going to be for the options, and he is pitting now into the pits. It's quite a long pit stop at this track, though, so you're going to have a huge gap over him, so I don't think he's going to be a threat from behind, even if on those option tires. And Onage pit as well.
20 seconds. Whoa.
Onage pit as well, so that actually puts you up into P2. Again, though, Onage is going to have really fresh tires and lots of pace, though, so he is still a potential threat later on in the race. But at the moment, you got a very nice gap back to Fat First and an enormous gap up ahead to Alex Gillen. Let's go ahead and see what that gap is now. 7.7 seconds, so actually he is pulling away, but not by loads. That's interesting. You're keeping up with him pretty well. I wouldn't expect Alex to make a mistake, especially around a track such as this one that he loves so much. But if he did make some sort of mistake, you know, that sort of gap is not that big. Just a small mistake could put you pretty close to his DRS, as you're actually only 6.8 seconds behind now, as we're starting lap 28. There are 4 laps left, including this one.
Yeah, and we're gonna watch every single lap of those, laps of those. And yeah, our engineers were telling us light rain at the end of the race. So let's see when it comes.
Even if the rain started right now, I'm not sure it would be enough to warrant intermediate tires, especially for you. Your strategy of having the fresher tires at the end of the race might pay some serious dividends if it starts raining. Because it's one thing to be driving around a track with worn tires, but it's quite another thing to be driving around a wet track with worn tires. So this could be good news for you. Alex does tend to be pretty good in the changing conditions and whatnot as well, though. Onage is in 3rd place now. He's gotten by the other contenders, but man, just look at how spread out the field is at this point in the race.
Yeah, that's crazy. And was that the raindrops? Did I see some raindrops?
Oh yeah, yep.
There it is.
Yep, I can confirm. I totally see those raindrops as well. Oh, did that split time just say the exact same time to Alex and Onage? I can't rewind it because we're doing this commentary, but I'm totally going to rewind that. I swear your split time to Alex was the same as the split time to Onage. They were very similar if they weren't the same. So you are right in the middle of a AOR champion sandwich right now. And it is raining, and in Singapore, and you've just done 28 laps. So, I mean, you got to be exhausted at this point in the race. I was mercifully allowed to leave after less than 15 laps. God decided to show me mercy and just end my suffering at that point. But with only 3 laps left, in 2nd place, with Onage behind, this is just, it's got to be a little nerve-wracking, and you must be really looking forward to the end of this race.
Yeah, and the rain certainly doesn't help at all, because I'm not a great driver in the wet.
And I mean, it just increases your focus that you need, too.
Yeah, and 3 laps to go here, and Onage, his gap is about 7 seconds, and during the last 5 laps, he's or since his pit stop, he's decreased that gap by, I think it was like 13 seconds by on lap 24 or 25.
Wow.
And so he's taken 5 seconds of that. And if you look at the gap now, see what it is.
Are you getting the tunnel glitch? Oh wow, yeah, 7 seconds now. He is closing that down.
Yep.
You're sticking with Alex though again. You know, it's just a couple tenths here and there. Certain sectors. It seems like certain sectors even that you're faster. Certain sectors he's faster. So it's really unfortunate that he was able to build such a gap, because I think you really could have given him a hard time if this gap had been smaller. Possibly with the DRS, it maybe even would have been enough to go side by side with him. As we come to the end of lap 29, penultimate lap, 7.5 to Alex. Again, not much change. 6.9 to Onage. He's closed you down ever so slightly, but he is not closing you down at a rate enough to actually take second place off of you at the end of this race, unless something horrible happens sometime in the next 1.6 laps or so.
Yeah, and at this point, I'm wondering, is there any point in pitting?
Right.
It's right at the edge, because this lap is still pretty good on the dries.
Yeah, only
but the next lap is not gonna be.
Only 5/10 off, so it's not massive. It's not huge or anything. Like, you know, if you were 3 seconds off in the first sector, then, you know, that would be probably a situation where you'd want to pit. But with only 1 lap left after this one, you would have to be losing like 10 seconds a sector in order to warrant pitting, because it's quite a long pit time for this track. So regardless of the conditions, I gotta imagine that you're probably going to be continuing on. Oh man, you are so brave to break that late in these conditions. That was
on. It's still decreasing that gap.
God,
by a second at least.
5.1 seconds now to Onage. He is clearly flying. I'm wondering what tire type he's on at this point. You get a little bit of understeer as we enter the tunnel. Thankfully, the tunnel is at least dry, so you can get that little sector or that little section of dry.
I think Onage's aggressive driving style must be keeping the heat in his tires better than mine.
Very possible.
I'm trying to keep it on the track, so I'm not really aggressive at this point. So
oh gosh, 3.9 to Onage.
Yeah, this is gonna be a thriller.
Oh gosh, last lap of the race. Coming towards the DRS. DRS is still active. Thankfully, Onage is more than 1 second behind as well. And that's the last opportunity for DRS as well. So even if he catches up to you now, all you have to do is stay in front of him. He won't be getting DRS for any more of this race. Breaking at about the 100-meter board. Wow, that is really, really brave. 3.3 to Onage. He only gained 0.6 in that first sector. Over 9 seconds to Alex, who is clearly just loving these changing conditions. Oh, as you lost your end plate, and that's going to put Onage right behind. He's coming onto the straight right now.
Yeah, there it is.
Tires are pretty worn, going down to lean for this tight, twisty section. Looking at your super cold tires. Oh man, just so much understeer and oversteer. It's just everything steer is. It's just, this is not going great as we're going through. And Onage is just behind. You can't even see his dot on the mini map anymore when you're going through the hairpins there. And gotta be braking. Oh gosh, again. It's scary to watch when you're breaking down for these corners at 150 miles an hour. 2.2 seconds back to Onage now. This is the final sector though, just need to stay in front of him, not really any passing locations for the rest of the lap. And it is raining very hard. This is definitely intermediate conditions at this point, but again, oh no, good thing you already lost your end plate because there was nothing else to break at that point. And Onage is just behind. Oh my gosh, he must be short shifting or something. Or possibly on the option tires, because, oh man, you just cannot get the power down. Spinning in 4th gear. 5th gear finally gets some traction. Just barely gonna make it through this. Oh my gosh. And you did it. Just barely. Oh my gosh. In the end, about, what is that? 0.105
Yep.
Wow, 0.105 separated the two of you. That's fantastic. Again, everyone remember that Miko's penalty is being removed, so he does edge out Ownage and take second place in this race. What a fantastic performance.
Well, thank you very much. And I don't know if I'm gonna get another chance at a second place after this, so have to enjoy that.
Yeah, I mean, just absolutely amazing. That's truly fantastic to see. Second podium of the year, again ahead of Ownage, which is just really fantastic. Alex gets his first. Alex gets the first back-to-back win of the season, becoming the first person with back-to-back wins after him and Ownage have been trading off back and forth for a while. Unfortunately, I don't. Did I lose any positions as a result of this? And I don't. No, I didn't.
I don't think so.
No. So I am tied with Chicane at the moment after his 7th place finish. Good job from him. And Granu ends up in 8th. Jack first 6th. Fat first 5th. Raiden comes home in 4th. Good job from him. And again, Zephyr and Romian also disconnected. Barcelona and Kifla did not start the race, actually. Forgot to mention that at the beginning of the video.
And Tremium gets his first points in his first race.
Yeah, good job from Tremium, getting 9th place after a 10-second penalty, it looks like.
Although there was only 9 cars left in the race.
Good point. Good point. But still, good job from him to get some points. Sauber maintains our 4th place position thanks to your finish. We're 35 points behind Red Bull currently, and 21 points ahead of McLaren. And our Toro Rosso looks like it's closing down the gap to McLaren. They're only 11 points behind at this point. And Williams as well, getting some nice points. It looks like Lotus is the only team that really seems to be struggling at the moment. But Riot Box hasn't been around for many of the races, and I'm forgetting the other Lotus driver. I think they've had some
days.
Yeah, they've had some attendance issues though. So
yeah.
That's going to do it for this video. The next race is in Korea on Sunday the 23rd after a much deserved 1-week break that we're all enjoying very much. Thank you so much for watching, everyone.
Yeah, we'll see you then.